Hi there, I'm Danny Flexen and welcome to the latest edition of FLEXpectations. And we're here, as the Pogues once sang, it was Christmas Eve, babe. I'm going to leave it there, not just because I've got a terrible voice, but also some words that come later in the song may offend a few people out there. But I do see a better time when all our dreams come true to further butcher that great Christmas classic. And that's in 2021, where hopefully the vaccine for coronavirus starts to take effect and we see crowds gradually start coming back to boxing. And more importantly, we hope that some of the mega fights that perhaps we've missed out on in 2020 come to fruition next year. None more so for UK fans than Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua for, hopefully, all four major heavyweight titles. It's an interesting one, and particularly from Joshua's side. Tyson Fury's confirmed he wants to fight. He's been ringing Adam Smith up, as you'll see from the interview with Adam on our channel, urging him to encourage AJ to sign the contract for their fight. He also said on the Jonathan Ross show, I actually met Jonathan Ross a few times when I was younger, when I worked in a shop in Golders Green, and him and his missus live around the corner. His missus was a lot nicer than him, it has to be said. He wasn't horrible or anything. He was just very, didn't really want to talk to anyone, but she was very, very nice. That aside, he said on the Fury said on the Jonathan Ross show that he wants to fight AJ and it has to be next. Bit different from the Joshua camp. He said in a recent interview that he'll knock Tyson Fury out. Seems very confident about the fight. But then when asked about Eddie Hearn's proclamation that the fight was very close, only a few minor details need to be agreed, he asserted that sometimes he and Eddie have different ideas about things, and that Eddie would need to liaise with 258, his management company, to work out the details of the fight and what's next for him. So kind of mixed messages, but we've got to believe from what we've heard from all parties that both fighters really want the showdown for 2021. There are still hurdles to overcome, of course, not least the WBO situation. They're pressing their mandatory obligation. The mandatory challenger is, of course, Alexander Usyk. He wants to press forward, but he is co-promoted by Matchroom, so I imagine there's a way, even though we interviewed Alex Krasuk, who is Usyk's promoter, not too long ago, and he insisted they would press their claim. They wouldn't want to accept any step-aside money. They'd want to fight Joshua, beat him, and then fight Fury afterwards. But maybe situations have changed. It's been a long time in pandemic. Usyk's obviously fought just once, albeit on pay-per-view. This year, maybe he would be more willing to accept a chunk of change and a guaranteed shot at the winner for all four titles, which would, in theory, be a bigger fight. So that hurdle may be easily overcome. Not sure so much about the broadcaster situation. Promoters seem willing to work together, but broadcasters, we've seen it in the US. We've seen ESPN, who are Fury's US broadcaster, work with Showtime in the States for the Fury Wilder rematch. And so it could happen for Fury against Joshua, although Joshua is usually, we believe he's a free agent broadcaster-wise in the States, but his fights generally have been put on by DAZN. So could DAZN work with ESPN to split things in the States? That seems at least more likely than in the UK, where Joshua still has a separate deal aside from the Matchroom deal with Sky Sports, and they have yet to do a split box office attraction with BT Sport. Obviously, great competition between the two sides, not just for TV, but in the realms of broadband and so on as well. Be interesting to see if they can work together for the common good, because boxing as a sport isn't even in the top three, you would say, for Sky Sports or for BT Sport at the moment. So is there the necessary drive there? I mean, it is a very profitable sport for them. That's the flip side of it, because it's got the pay-per-view arm. Is there enough of an incentive for the two sides to work together, split the revenue and split the views? We hope so, because for UK fans, it would be the biggest all-British fight of all time, certainly commercially, and a rare fight, the first fight ever for all four in the four-belt era, for all four major world heavyweight titles. So historic in more than one way, and we really want to see it. Is it a fight I most want to see next year, though? Probably not, and the reason for that is that I feel relatively confident, as confident as you can be in boxing, particularly heavyweight boxing, whereas we're often told one punch can change everything. that Tyson Fury gets the job done, that he's more versatile, he's got the greater skill set, and that he finds a way to win. You know, he's overcome adversity in a greater way than Joshua in recent times, and I'm relatively confident that he would beat Joshua when they fight. Happy to be proved wrong, but you know that's just how I feel at the moment. So the fight I'd most like to see next year, and it's the fight I've probably said this about for the last couple of years, is of course the welterweight cracker between Errol Spence and Terence Crawford. And I find that incredibly hard to call, and that's one of the main reasons I want to see it. They both deserve to be in the top 10 pound for pound in the world today. Both really good fighters, but very different fighters as well. You know, Spence, physically strong, dictates behind an excellent jab, great ring IQ, much the bigger man, you know, looks capable of going up to at least 154, if not 160. I don't want to see him fight Canelo particularly. I think Canelo's way too big for him. But I do want to see him fight Crawford, who's now grown into the weight at welter. He's rangy, he's got the flair and the skill, he's awkward, he can switch hit. Spence is, of course, a southpaw. Crawford can switch hit very effectively. Powerful as well, although whether he could budge Spence, who's looked very, very robust so far in his professional career, is hard to say. But just the way those styles can mesh together, I mean, it's our era's Sugar Ray Leonard, Thomas Hearns, you know, both around their primes, maybe a little bit. I don't want to say past because they're older than Leonard and Hearns were when they met, of course, but I think they're still quite fresh. So I'd still say they're around their primes, even though they're in their 30s. But yeah, Spence, Crawford, styles should mesh well. Both unbeaten, of course. Both already in the pound-for-pound top 10 for most people. I just think it's a mouth-watering fight and one we've been robbed of for far too long. It has similar issues to Fury and Joshua, not as many, but in terms of the promotional split and the broadcaster split. And I guess the difficulty there is they're not guaranteed to generate anywhere near as much money as Fury and Joshua to make it worthwhile splitting the pot. You know, there might only be so much money for one side. But as we know, and we've been told enough times, Crawford coming to the end of his contract with Top Rank towards the end of next year. So we may have to wait a little longer, or at least till the end of 2021 to see it. And it may end up on a PBC show, who knows. But it's the fight that 100% I most want to see next year. And then I wanted to do like a top three. And my third would, until a couple of weeks ago, my third would have been probably the rematch between Roman Gonzalez, Chocolatito, and Juan Francisco Estrada. But that's now been made. So well done, obviously, to everyone involved in making that fight, and DAZN and Matchroom Boxing, of course. But yeah, it's robbed me of my number three. So I had to kind of think again. And there's not a fight involving Canelo that's going to make my top three, predominantly because I don't think there's anyone between 160 and 175 who beats him. And only Beterbiev really, for me, poses a serious threat. But my mouth's not kind of salivating at that one. So thinking it through, I think the one I'd most like to see, and again, this could be hard with different promoters and different broadcasters, but it's one I've wanted to see for a while, is Miguel Berchelt, the WBC super featherweight champion, against Tank Davis, Gervonta Tank Davis, WBA king, of course. Again, really, really good fighters. I think it's this generation's Mayweather Castillo. You've got a rough, tough, but underrated intelligence. Miguel Berchelt, done so well, on form, still young as well. You know, he seems like he's been around forever. He's rugged, powerful. And then you've got Tank Davis, who's explosive and compact and skillful and unbeaten, of course, and possesses that one-punch knockout power as well, as we saw famously not too long ago against Leo Santa Cruz. And for me, that's got all the ingredients. Again, style should mesh incredibly well. And I think I want to see that at least as much as Spence Crawford. It's just not been talked about as much as the others. People want to drum up interest in Tank against, you know, Devin Haney or Shakur Stevenson because they're the next young thing coming through. But Berchelt kind of doesn't get as much coverage and as much praise as he should. But he's a dangerous, dangerous man and an incredibly effective operator. And him against Tank, I think, is a genuine 50-50 fight and one I would love to see. So obvious question for you guys, if you can carve some time out of your last minute shopping, mostly online, I would imagine this year, certainly in the UK. But let us know what you feel are your top or top three fights you most want to see in 2021 and why. Really look forward to that. I'll be back on Monday for Reflections, which will be my awards for the year. So the fighters of the year, and I might do some alternative awards as well, but I need to have a think about that first. A lot of eating and drinking to be done between now and then. But yeah, look forward to that. And leave your comments below, as I've already said, and I'll reply to some of the best of them. Everyone have a lovely Christmas. I'm going to say stay safe because I think you have to. It's like mandatory these days. But how much trouble can you get in at home on your own with your family at Christmas? Yeah, okay, good point. Just stay safe, and hopefully I'll see you all on Monday, and we can talk about the year gone by and extract some positives from what's not been the easiest of 12 months. Really appreciate the time, and I'll see you all soon. Merry Christmas.